Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Okay, so we'll continue with our class. So today we will start with the reproduction. Okay, so when we talk about reproduction is the process of producing new individual or stem species. Okay, stem species by the existing organism or species. Okay, and it is the process by which it will lead to increase in population and also population size, and with time it will lead to evolution also, because we have already seen that mutation at in one particular gene, if there is any change in one sequence in one particular gene, it leads to mutation. But in this mutation in a large scale, like in this is related to an individual, but mutation at the population level will lead to evolution. Okay, so the reproduction is the process by which new individual or species are formed or are reproduced by the existing organism, leading to increase in population size and evolution. So when we talk about reproduction, they are of two types. One is the asexual reproduction and another is sexual reproduction. So when we talk about this asexual reproduction, it usually occurs in the unicellular organism or sometimes in multicellular organism also. But in this asexual reproduction, only single parent is involved. When only single parent is involved, there will be no gamete formation. Okay, so if there is no gamete formation, means no fertilization. And because it is only the single parent that is involved in this reproduction, no gamete formation, no fertilization, so the progeny or the young ones they produce will be exactly the same as the parent. That is, it will be having the exact same genetic makeup. In a way, we can say that they are cloning, same exact same as the parent cell or the parent organism. Okay, so that is about asexual reproduction. So we have discussed this. Asexual reproduction means it will undergo mitotic cell division, not meiosis. Okay, it will go mitosis. It will undergo mitosis and not meiosis in this asexual reproduction. So there are different types of asexual reproduction. We'll come to the sexual reproduction later on. So different types of asexual reproduction are types of asexual reproduction. The first one is the fission. Fission, it can be of two types: binary fission and multiple fission. Fission means division. Okay, fission in science it just in simpler term it will mean division. So when the our parent organism is divided into equal parts, having the same genetic information, it will divide itself into two. It will be known as binary fission. Binary means two. Multiple, we know it will be divided into multiple organism. That is known as fission. Fission means division, so it can be binary fission or multiple fission. So in this fission, first there will be division of the nucleus. Division of nucleus first take place, and only then the division of the cytoplasm will take place. Okay, so that will form again from one parent. In binary fission, it will divide to form uh, two organism again like that, and multiple fission it will be multiple organism form by undergoing this process of reproduction. So the best example of binary fission is amoeba. Okay, it will be divided into two amoeba, and for multiple fission the best example is plasmodium. Okay, protozoan plasmodium. Sorry. Okay. Now coming to another type of asexual reproduction, that is budding. Budding in here, what happens is that a small part of the body of the parent parent plant or parent organism will grow out. Okay, it will grow out, and it will grow out as a bud, and later on it will detach itself and form a new organism. Example, the best example is Hydra. Okay, Hydra and yeast are the best example of budding. So budding, what happens is, if, for example, it can occur in multicellular organism. Okay, for example, this is a plant. So here, a small shoot or like a small part of the body in that parent organism or plant will grow out. It will grow out from this one, and later on it will detach itself from here, and it will form a new, completely different and new organism. That is what budding is. And now coming to fragmentation. When we talk about the fragmentation, it also occurs in multicellular organism, and with a simple body. Their body is not divided into very complex thing. It's a simple body. So um, the fragmentation, it will get fragmented, or here also it break up into different parts, and then each part will grow and they will mature to form a individual organism or individual species. Okay, so fragmentation is also nothing but just break up of this parent body into different into parts, which will later grow into a matured organism. The best example of fragmentation, it can be this starfish. Okay, this are starfish, sponges, algae, fungi, lichens, and even flatwoods. Flatwoods, they can reproduce by this process of fragmentation, which is simply the breakup of the parent cells, parent organism to form multiple organism by just breaking up the parent body, and which will later mature itself into a completely different and mm, new organism. Okay, new of the same species. And another one is known as spore formation. Spore formation is in here the reproductive cell. It has they will form a spore. The organism will form a spore, and they will this spore will terminate to give a new individual. Okay, this is also another way of reproduction. So these are the different types of asexual reproduction. Now we will come to the sexual reproduction. When we say sexual reproduction means here, sexual reproduction, there will be opposite to this one. So in sexual reproduction, it will involve the formation of male and female gametes. Okay, there will be formation of male and female gametes, and this male and female gametes, it can be from either the same or different individual of opposite sex. Okay, so in sexual reproduction, there will always be a formation of male and female gametes. In some organisms, like in earth, both this male and female sex organ are present in that same organism. Okay, so in earthworm, so that is one thing, but that are also a part of sexual reproduction because there is a formation of male and female gametes. Mm, okay, so in most of the multicellular organism, including flowering plants, they will undergo this sexual reproduction. And because there is a fusion of male and female gametes, the offspring they produce are neither identical to the parent or nor among themselves. Okay, so because of this mixing of these two gametes, they will not be like this asexual reproduction where they will have the exact same genetic makeup. And in this sexual reproduction, meiosis cell division, meiotic cell division, or meiosis will undertake. Okay, so this is the difference between sexual and asexual reproduction. And even human being undergoes sexual reproduction. So, like I said, on the basis of the gamete formation, if they are forming from the same animal, like if animal in which both gametes are formed, like the earthworms, they will be known as bisexual. Okay, if they both the sex organs are present in the single organism, mm, they will be known as bisexual. So bisexual will be example will be earthworm. Okay, so they both female and male sex organ is present in the same body, so they will produce both the female and male gametes in case of earthworm, in case of bisexual organism, and unisexual. So human are unisexual organism. Okay, that means the male and female part will be present in different individual. And so, if they're present in different individual, the male gametes will produce in the male, and the female gametes will be produced in the female in the separate body. So they are unisexual. And when we talk about viviparous, means they will give birth to young ones. They will not lay egg. They will give birth to young ones. Okay, so the process of fertilization or the process of reproduction in human being involve multiple steps. So we will see the events or the steps that are involved in the reproduction process. First one is gametogenesis. Gametogenesis. Genesis, it will always refer to the formation or the development. Okay, formation, mainly the formation or the beginning, right? Genesis. So it will always refer to the formation. So gametogenesis is nothing but the formation of the gametes. We have already discussed what is haploid and diploid in the mitosis and meiosis. So by now you are aware that gametes will be haploid because they will contain the half number of chromosomes instead of the parent cell by the process of meiosis, right? So there will be formation of haploid gametes by the meiosis is known as gametogenesis. Okay, now here you tell me which one is the male gamete and which one is the female gamete. Anyone? Male gametes. Which one is referred to as the male gamete?
Sperm.
Yes, very good. The sperm is referred to as the male gamete. And then what about the female gamete?
Egg or ovum.
Yes, very good. Egg or ovum or ova is referred to as the female gamete. So the process of formation of sperm and the process of formation of ovum is known as gametogenesis. Okay, and then after the formation of gametes, the next step or next event is insemination. Insemination, everyone knows, is the deposition of the male gametes, that is the sperm, to the female part. As simple as that. And after the insemination, the next process will be fertilization. Fertilization is the fusion of the male and female gametes to give zygote. Okay. Yeah. So, like I explained before, from the male uh, gametes from different individual, and female gametes is in different individuals. So the fusion of this sperm and this ovum, it is known as fertilization. And after this fertilization, after the sperm is fused with the egg, it will form an structure, one structure. After their fusion, one structure will be formed that is known as zygote. Okay, zygote. That is known as zygote. Please note this term also. And in human being, fertilization will take place in the fallopian tube or oviduct. Please remember this part. In human, fertilization will take place in the fallopian tube or oviduct. When we see the different parts of female reproductive organ. We will see where this fallopian tube is located, but be aware and know that fertilization in human being will take place in the fallopian tube or the oviduct part of the female reproductive organ. And now coming to the next one is the cleavage. Cleavage is nothing but repeated mitotic division of this zygote to form the blastocyst. So, like here, uh, after the fusion of the male and female gamete, it will form zygote. So, after this zygote is formed, they will undergo multiple cell division. Here, it is mitosis. Okay, so multiple cell division so that it will grow, it will increase in size, and after the undergo this multiple and repeated mitotic division, the zygote will form something known as blastocyst. Okay, blastocyst. And this blastocyst is nothing but it is the development stage of the embryo or the offspring. Okay, all these are the development stage of the embryo or the offspring. And after forming this blastocyst, all this after the fusion, all this zygote formation and blastocyst formation are taking place in the fallopian tube only. Okay, only after that, after the formation of this blastocyst, implantation will take place. What is this implantation? Implantation is nothing but the attachment of this blastocyst to the uterine wall or the uterus. That is, in general term, we call it womb, right? So implantation will take place after the formation of blastocyst in the fallopian tube. And what do you mean by implantation? Implantation means attachment of this blastocyst to the uterine wall or the uterus. Okay, and then after they are attached to the uterine wall or uterus, or commonly known as the womb, a special tissue will develop between the uterine wall or the uterus and the embryo. Now, this blastocyst is referred to as embryo. All these things are the development stage of the offspring or the child. Okay, so don't get confused, but in each stage it will develop and form this. At last, they will form the child. Okay, so these are all are the development stage. So from the zygote, it will form the blastocyst, and even after this one, so many process goes on, but I think we don't need to go into so much detail. Just remember that there will be a special tissue formation between the uterine wall and the embryo known as the placenta. Okay, placenta. And this placenta will help in the transportation of food material, transportation of nutrients, and even waste products. Okay, from the baby to the mother. This will form the connection between the baby and the mother. Okay, this placenta. And coming to the term gestation. What is gestation? When we talk about gestation, it means the development of the fetus. Fetus is also another term for the developing child. Okay, embryo, fetus, in medical terms we just refer to when they are in the development stage, when the actual structure or actual baby is in the development stage and not fully formed, they will use the term embryo and fetus. We use this term embryo and fetus interchangeably, but when we go into the technical aspect, actually up to 8 weeks of pregnancy, up to the 8 week of pregnancy, that developing the developing offspring is known as the embryo. And after crossing the 8 week of development in the uterus, it will be referred to as the fetus. Okay, but they are usually used interchangeably, referring to the development stage of the offspring. Okay, so the development of fetus is nothing, just the baby. Okay, this one is also the baby, this one is baby. Okay, development of fetus inside the uterus till the birth is known as the gestation or gestation period. So tell me the normal gestation period of human being. Anyone? Gestation period, it is referring to the development of the fetus inside the uterus till the birth. So from the fertilization till the birth is referred to as the gestation period. So the normal gestation period for human being is how many months?
9 months.
Yes. If it is 9 months, if we convert this 9 months to weeks, it will come up to, if the question is in weeks.
27 weeks.
Yeah, it will be around 40 weeks. Okay, 30, 38 to 40 weeks. Okay, it will come up to, if we calculate this one, it will be around this week, and it will be around 280 days. Sometimes the question can be asked in months, in weeks, or days. So instead of wasting time calculating, you can remember this one. Okay. And what is parturition? Then the parturition is a term used for separation of the body from the uterine wall and its delivery. In simple term, parturition means delivery. Okay, so delivery means then the baby will be separated from the mother uterine wall and will be brought into the world. That is nothing but the term is known as parturition. Okay, giving birth is referred to as parturition. And while talking about the sexual reproduction system, one term is very important: puberty. Puberty is, um, in human being, this puberty, or it can be known as the adolescent age. Okay, adolescent age also. It is the age where the process of sexual development will start. Process of sexual development will start. So if there is and in female, in girls, usually it starts early. This puberty period is termed as 10 to 14 years in female, and for boys, it starts a little late. The usual average we take is 12 to 16 years. Okay, there can be uh, a little different in different books, but this is what NCRT books are referring to. So yeah, you can remember this one. It can be, sometimes it can be 11 years, from 11 to 14 years, or 11 to 18 years, something like that. Okay, it can go on up to 18 years actually. So puberty, the process of sexual development will take place. So the body will undergo several changes during this period, and then yes, sexual maturity, reproductive maturity will take place. So some of the features of puberty, in it will be different in boys and girls. So in boys, it can be the the main thing we can observe will be uh, the voice box will develop, the larynx will grow, so their voice will change, and there will be hair growth in the face, also armpit, also face, armpit, and pubic area. Okay, and for girls, their voice will become high pitch. Okay, they will become high pitch, and also there will be, yes, increase in the size of the mammary glands, also in size of mammary glands. All these things can will start during this age. That is referred to as the puberty. And most important thing is the menstruation cycle will start. Yes, menstruation cycle will start once the girl hit the puberty age. Now coming to the male reproductive, or reproduction, or male reproductive organ. From This is the structure of male reproductive organ. The primary organ for male reproductive organ is the pair of testes, which you can see in this diagram, this one, pair of testes. And this testis, it is governed by a it is governed by a skin, or a fold, known as the scrotum. And the function of this scrotum is to cover the testis, as well as to provide the optimal temperature to form the sperm. So when the thing about the sperm is that the temperature for sperm formation is the ideal temperature is at least 2 to 3 degrees centigrade lower than the normal body temperature. Okay. So the ideal temperature to form the sperm is 2 to 3 centimeter lower than the normal body temperature, and this will be maintained by the scrotum part of this male reproductive organ. And the primary organ is the testis. So there are three cells that will make up the testis. The first one is the spermatogonia. Spermatogonia is the first cell is the spermatogonia, and the function of this one is to produce the sperm. And the second cell is the lighting disease, Leyting, lighting cells. I mean the next one is the lighting cells, and its function is to form the testosterone. And then this another cell is known as Sertoli cell. Sertoli cell, its function is to provide nourishment to the developing sperm. So there are three cells that will make up the testis. The first one is the spermatogonia, which will help in the production of the sperm. Number two is the lighting cell, which will help in the production of the male sex hormone, that is the testosterone. And the third one is the Sertoli cell. Sertoli cells, the function is to provide nourishment to the developing sperm. I hope we're clear with that. And now, so the main function of this is to produce the sperm. Now we know, everyone knows that one. And also the male sex hormone. What is the male sex hormone? The male sex hormone is the testosterone. Okay, the testosterone is the male sex hormone. So the main function of this is to produce the sperm and the male sex hormone. That is the testosterone. And then before going to the structure of sperm, here's the this is we have discussed about the testis, we have discussed about the scrotum, and then yes, urethra. uh, while going through the excretory system, we saw that urethra in female is just is for the passage of urine only. Urethra in female is just for passage of urine only, but in male it can be used for passage of urine as well as the sperm. Okay, so it has 12 function in male. And yes, some of the secondary here. Secondary male reproductive organs are there. So okay, I'll just cover this part. So organs are there. First one is the epididymis. This one, epididymis. Okay, this is located near this, and this is known as secondary sex organ because it does not produce the sperm, but it will help in the production of the sperm. Okay, so you just need to know at least the names, because sometimes in question epididymis is a part of female reproductive organ or male reproductive organ. Such kind of questions used to be there. So if you don't know the term, you won't be able to make out. So at least be familiar with the term that epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicles, and prostate are all part of the male reproductive organ. Okay, so no need to go so much into the detail of all this function, but at least know that they are part of the male reproductive organ. Coming to the structure of the sperm. The sperm is it looks something like this. It will be divided into head, and this the body part, and the tail. So in the head will contain the nucleus and sorry, acrosome. Okay, Acrosome. The this head part will contain the nucleus. So in nucleus there will be the chromosomal material, the genetic information will be here in this head part in the nucleus, and something known as acrosome is there. And what is the function of this acrosome? This acrosome will contain a chemical or enzyme that can break or dissolve the covering of the ovum. Okay, because of some chemical present in this acrosome, it can dissolve the layers covering the ovum and it can penetrate the ovum. Okay, so that is the function of the is acrosome. And in the middle part, this is the body part or the middle part, there will be the, and after the head there is the neck, and then the middle piece or middle part, it will contain the mitochondria. And this mitochondria will provide energy for swimming, that is for the movement of this sperm. Okay, mitochondria is present in the middle part or middle piece. And the movement of the sperm is done with the help of a tail known as the flagella. This tail is also known as flagella. Okay, please be familiar with the alternate names, because if you are not aware with that name, you will know that answer, but you will miss that question. So the movement of the sperm is helped with is done with the help of this tail part or the flagella. Okay, like we discussed, country's male reproductive organs are like the epidermis. Epidermis, the function is to store for storing the sperm. Okay, for storing the immature sperm, actually the while storing the while forming, there was like the immature sperm will be stored in this epidermis, and from there after that it will get matured and then it will transfer to this vas deferens, and this is also known as the sperm duct, because from this vas deferens it will be passed into the urethra to be ejaculated out. So that is, yes, where is it? Okay. Yes, and like some of the, like I mentioned, be familiar with the name like semiferous tubules, seminal vesicles, and urethra. Okay, and yes, prostate gland. Prostate gland is also a part of male reproductive organ. We have to be aware with this one, because the most common form of cancer, one of the most common form of cancer in male is this prostate gland cancer. Okay, so and then there is another gland known as Cowper's gland. And what are the function of this gland, like mm, prostate gland and Cowper's gland? The function is to produce lubricants, okay? Lubricants or fluid. So they will help in the process of ejaculation, okay? So all these functions, they will act as an accessory organ gland to help in the process of ejaculation or in the process of sperm formation. Okay, that is about it. And yeah, coming to the female reproductive organ, the simple diagram about that one. So in female also, the primary sex organ is the primary organ is a pair of ovary. These are the ovaries. Okay, the pair of ovaries which will produce the egg or the ovum. Okay, and then see, so like I mentioned before, that fertilization will occur in the fallopian tube or the oviduct. And the fallopian tube or the oviduct is this part of the female reproductive organ. So the egg will be formed here, and then the sperm will come and fertilization will occur here. And only after the formation of blastocyte, they will be embedded here. This is the uterus, the uterine. Yes, that is a part of the uterus. Uterine fundus is a part of the uterus. Some it will be implanted here after the formation of blastocyst, and yes, they will be implanted here. And yeah, you can see, yes, it is endometrium, myometrium, perimetrium. These are nothing but the layers or the membrane of the uterine. Okay, MEM. PRN membrane layers or membrane of the uterine. The outermost layer will be the perimetrium, and the myometrium will be the middle, and the innermost will be the endometrium. Okay, so and then this is the uterus, where which commonly known as the womb, and then there is an opening the uterus known as the cervical canal, and cervix, and this is the outer region, the vagina region. Okay, this is the structure of the female reproductive system. Okay, so yes, while talking about this one, we have to talk about the ovulation. What is ovulation? So ovulation, it is the process right here. It's very haphazard, I know, but in the notes I'll give you, I'll write everything this in the proper writing. So don't worry about it, okay? Ovulation, it is the process in which a mature egg is released from the ovary. Okay, so here in the ovary, the development of egg will take place. So ovulation is nothing but the process where this matured egg from the ovary will be released to the fallopian tube. Okay, so during this process of ovulation will take place on the 14th day of the 28 days of menstrual cycle. Okay, 28 days of menstrual cycle, it will occur on the 14th day. So the process of menstrual cycle takes 28 days. So on the 14th day, the matured egg formed in this ovary will be released from the ovary to the fallopian tube. So on the 14th day, it is there in the fallopian tube. So any sperm or any male gamete coming on this 14th day or on these days of ovulation will get fertilized, and then it will lead to pregnancy. Okay, so this is the ovulation date. It will occur on the 14th day of the 28 days of menstrual cycle, and it is nothing but the process by which mature egg is released from the ovary to be fertilized. Okay, and if this fertilization does not take place, then the process it will remain here, and then this egg will be released in the by the process of menstrual cycle. Okay, so if it's not fertilized, the cycle will continue, and because of that period or menstrual cycle will be there. Okay, coming to the secondary sex organs of this female reproductive organ. So in yes, secondary sex organs will be like mammary gland before that one, but all these are the primary sex organs. Okay, the ovary and fibria are the finger-like projection that will hold the ovary. Okay, and other secondary sex organs in female reproductive organ will be can be fallopian tube also, because it helps in the process of it will help in the process of fertilization or in the process of reproduction. And then even the uterus, even the cervical canal or the cervix or the vagina, all these things are the part of the secondary sex organ in female. Okay, and in addition to all these, there is a gland known as the mammary gland. Okay, so mammary gland is nothing but a modified sweat gland. Remember this one, sometimes they used to ask. Mammary gland is nothing but a modified sweat gland, and this mammary gland will produce the milk. Okay, so it will produce the milk, and this production of milk, I want to be very clear with this one. Okay, there is a hormone named as prolactin, okay, produced by the mammary gland, which will help in the synthesis or secretion of this milk. So the hormone that helps in the synthesis or secretion of milk is prolactin. But the hormone that helps in the ejaculation of milk is, yesterday we discussed, anyone? The hormone that will help in the ejaculation of milk is one of the pituitary gland's hormone. Anyone? I hope you guys are revising whatever we are discussing in the class. Okay, so it is oxytocin. Okay, so please be very particular about the synthesis and the ejaculation. Okay, if the question is about the hormone that help in the secretion in the synthesis or secretion of milk, then it will be the prolactin hormone of the mammary gland. But if the question is particular about the ejaculation of the milk from the mammary gland, it will be the oxytocin from pituitary gland. Please be aware of this difference. Okay, so yes, the milk that is produced in the first milk that is produced by this mammary gland after the childbirth, it contains something known as colostrum. Okay, colostrum, colostrum. It is a yellowish white fluid. Okay, so and this colostrum is very important for the newborn child because it contains an immunoglobulin known as IgA that will help in immunity. So please know that IgA, okay? So immunoglobulin can be of different types, IgA, IgG, So it is very particular. Please be very particular about this one. That it will contain an immunoglobulin IgA, okay? So in addition to this immunoglobulin IgA, it will also contain protein and calories, but it will not contain something. What is that? It will not contain iron, okay? Iron is not there in the milk, okay? So please remember this one that it will contain protein, it contain IgA, and like some amount of calories will be there, but it will not contain iron. And because of this presence of immunoglobulin IgA, it will provide immunity to the child from different types of disease known as the passive immunity. Okay. So I hope we are clear with the reproductive system or the process of reproduction in animal and in human being. Okay, so I yesterday I was I went a little too fast, and some of you are having trouble with that one because yes, I understand coming from different educational background, and especially from those who are from arts background, you will be having difficulty in catching up with this one. But the thing is, time is very limited, and I want to cover as much as possible during this limited time. So I'm going a little fast for that one. But if you have any difficulties understanding any particular topic, you can just text me personally. I'll try to explain to you personally. Okay. So if you are having any problem in any particular topic which is difficult for you to understand, you can just text me. I will try to explain to you individually. Okay. I'm trying to explain whatever usually students learn from in 5 6 years or like 3 4 years in 10 days. So it's very difficult to cover everything. So don't only depend on these notes and class notes. Go through these standard books also, okay? And if you have any difficulties understanding any part of it, please let me know personally. Okay. Okay, fine. So that is about the respiratory system. Now we still have time, so we'll cover a little part of this human skeleton or the skeletal system of human being. Okay. Okay. So this human skeleton, the skeletal system of human being. Skeletal system of human. So the skeletal system of human being, they are referring to the supporting framework of the body. Like everyone knows that one we talk about the skeleton, right? So this is the basic structure showing the different uh bones or different structure that will form the human skeleton. So, can anyone tell me the number of bones present in human body, in adult human body, number of bones in adult human body? Anyone?
206.
Yes, it's 206. What about during the embryo stage or during the development stage? They have actually they have more number of bonds, okay, during the development stage or during the embryo stage, EMPR or embryo stage. They have actually 280 bonds, okay. But in the process of development, this bond will ossify together. They will join together to form a single bond. So in adult, it becomes 206 bonds. Okay, so when we talk about the human endoskeleton or the skeleton, it will be divided into two main parts. So bones, it will be divided into two main parts. Skeleton. First one is the axial skeleton. Axial skeleton. And the second one will be the appendicular skeleton. So axial skeleton is nothing but this part from here, the middle part, the axial part, this part. From here, these things, it will come under the axial skeleton. Okay. Appendicular means the peripheral. So this from here, the hand part and the leg part, all these things will come under the appendicular skeleton. So out of the 206 bones, 80 bones will form the axial skeleton. Okay, this axial from the head till up to the pelvic region and all, it will form by 80 bones. And appendicular skeleton. So from 100, 206, if we minus 80 bones, you'll get that 126 bones, right? So the remaining 126 bones will form the appendicular skeleton, non from like the part of the hands or the legs and feet will form by the appendicular skeleton. So in this axial skeleton also we can make further division like this. So yes, so the first one, the skull, okay, the head part. Skull, it consists of actually 29 bones. Okay, I'm just writing the number of bones here. So skull, it consists of 29 bones. We will not go into so much details. The skull is made up of different types of bone. This front part is called the frontal bone. This side are called the parietal occipital bone. But we will not go into detail. But at least know that the skull is made up of 29 bones. And then come the vertebral column. Here, the vertebral column. From here to here, this bone, the vertebra. Okay. So the vertebral column, vertebral column, it will be made up of 33 bonds. Okay, 33 bonds, and comes the this is the sternum, the breastbone. Okay, the breastbone or the sternum. This is the sternum. Okay, this part is called the sternum or the breastbone. Sternum. The sternum is ST sternum. Okay, so it will be made up of one bone. And yes, so and there yeah, yeah, okay, yes, and then the ribs. So when you see this axial skeleton, you can see that from from the head to from this pelvic region. So it will be made up of the skull, which is made up of 29 bones, and then the vertebral column, which will be made up of 33 bones, and then the ribs, this part, and the sternum. Okay, so how many pairs of ribs are there in human body? Anyone?
12 pairs.
12 pairs. Yes, 12 pairs means 24 bonds, right? Mhm. Okay, so out of the, and let me just go a little detail about the ribs. So there are 12 pairs. So 1 to 7th, the ribs from 1 to 7th, they are referred to as true ribs. Okay, true ribs. They will have, and then the 8 to 10 ribs, 8 to 10 ribs are known as false ribs. And then the 11th and the 12th pair of ribs, they will be referred to as floating ribs. Why? Because if you see this structure, you'll see that this 1 to 7, it will be directly connected to the sternum, the breastbone. They are known as the true ribs, okay? And the false ribs, they are also connected, but they will join and join together, okay? And they will join together and form and get a connection with the sternum or the breastbone. And when we see the 11th and 12th rib here, they are the floating ribs. They will not be connected to the sternum. But the function of these floating ribs is to protect one very important organ known as to protect the kidney. Okay, because kidney will be situated somewhere here at the back. So the main function of these floating ribs, the 11th and 12th ribs, they are referred to as the floating ribs, and their main function is to protect the kidney. Just remember that much. I think it's more than enough. Okay, so skull is made up of different type of bones, not only this part, but I want to focus mainly on the facial area. Okay, so skull, again, it will be further divided into the cranium region. Cranium we discussed yesterday, that is the bony structure. This bony structure that will protect the brain is known as the cranium. So the cranium will be made up of 8 number of bones, and then the facial bones. Facial bones will be 14 in number. Facial bones means this different type of bone, the maxilla, the mandible, and this zygoma, this femur, I mean not femur, and this occipital bone. All these will be made up of, will made up the facial bone. So there are 14 in number. And then ear, in the ear also there are something known as ear ossicles. So ear ossicles, there are 6 in number, which I will tell you more about it. Okay. And there is a one bone known as hyoid bone. Sometimes they used to ask, okay, a horseshoe shape, horseshoe shape or U-shape bone located in the neck is known as, and that will be the hyoid point. So hyoid point will be located somewhere here in the neck region. It is a horseshoe shape or the U-shaped bone that is located in the neck region, and this is known as the hyoid bone. Okay, sometimes they used to ask, so be aware of that one. And if we talk about this vertebral column, so actually in vertebral column, these 23 bones are made up of different types of bones. Like this, from there will be cervical vertebra also. There will be 7 cervical vertebra, and then thoracic. Different, it depending on the thorax region. Okay, thorax or thoracic region, it will be 12 bones, and then the lumbar region, it will be made up of 5 bones, and then the sacrum, that is the backbone, 1 and coccyx. Will be made up of 1 bone. Okay. And the spelling is COCC. I think. Yeah. So no need to know so much in detail, but at least know that the vertebral column is made up of 33 bones. And again, it's divided. This part, it will be the cervical part. This part, the thoracic region will be known as the thoracic vertebra, and from here it will be known as the lumbar vertebra. And this is nothing but the back here. There is a one big bone is known as the sacrum, and then also at the tip there will be something known as oxy. Okay, so at least be aware of that one. And yes, special bone is 14 air ossicles. So we'll talk about the air ossicles. So because the smallest bone in human body is the stapes. Stapes is the smallest bone in human body. Okay, it's measuring about only 2 to 3 mm, very small. Okay, this is the smallest bone in the human body, and this stapes is present in the ear. It's a part of the ear ossicles. There are three pairs of ear ossicles. That is, number one is Malleus, Malleus. Okay, and Malleus, incus, and stapes. These three pairs. So three. There are two in both sides. It's there. So on both sides of the ear, if we can, so three pairs coming to. So two Malleus, two incus, and two stapes. That's why there are 6 bones in the ear ossicles, and the smallest one is the stapes. Okay. So you can remember the ossicles in ear known as Malleus, incus, stapes. Malleus, incus, stapes. Okay. And yeah, that is all about the axial skeleton. Now, when we talk about the appendicular skeleton, appendicular skeleton, again, there is a division here known as the cradles, G R T N, cradles, and then the limb bone. So, cradles is referring to these joints, okay? So, when we talk about the appendicular skeleton, these cradles, these joints, and this the limb part. So the cradles will be made up of only 6 bones, and then the limb bone will be made up of 120 out of the 126 appendicular skeletal bones. Okay, so these cradles are nothing but to give support and protection to the limbs. So and to give support to join them to the main part of the body or the axial part of the body. So the cradles are for that function. So cradles can be in the hand, it can be pectoral. In the upper limb, it can be pectoral, and in the lower limb, it can be pelvic. Okay, so pectoral or pelvic too. Again, limbs, it can be forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs are referring to the hand part, the upper part. Okay, forelimbs and hind limbs. Forelimbs, they will be made up of 60 bones, and even the hind limbs, they are made up of 60 bones, making it 120 bones. Okay, so I will not go into detail about these bones because it's getting too deep, but I'll just tell you that the see, which one is humerus and all we need to know. So clavicle, this is the collarbone. Okay, the collarbone is known as the clavicle. Collarbone or clavicle, and this is the most commonly fractured bone. Okay, in human body, the most commonly fractured bone is the clavicle or the collarbone. It's because of its position. Okay, it's not that it's very soft also, but because of its position, it can be easily fractured. So the most commonly fractured bone in human body is this clavicle. Clavicle is also known as the collarbone. Okay, so we should know where clavicle is, and then humerus. Humerus is the bone in the hand, and femur is the bone in the leg. Just remember that the longest bone in human body, the longest and the strongest bone in human body is the femur, which is part of the hind limb, and humerus, and then everyone knows the elbow, and then there are two bones in the from elbow to wrist known as the radius ulna. So radius ulna, remember that it is a part of the forelimb and the wrist. Just remember only that part. And the fingers are known as phalanges. Okay, the fingers part are known as phalanges in bone, and this wrist area is known as the carpal. Okay, and in feet, this area will be known as the tarsal, and the knee bone, the knee, the knee is known as the patella. Okay, the knee is referred to as patella, and then yes, femur and tibia and fibula. So just at least just remember that in different parts of the human bone and for I mean hind limb and forelimb. We will not go into so much detail. It can be confusing for you. Just know that much. Yeah, phalanges, the fingers. So if I ask you how many bones are there in your fingers, phalanges, be it phalanges, then can you count and tell me the bones that are present in your hand, in your fingers? Fingers.
28.
Yes, it will be 28. Good. Okay, then yeah, that is all about this one. If we go into detail, more confusing for you, I think if you know at least that much, it will be helpful. And yeah, coming to the joints, you have to know a little bit about the joints, okay? Okay, so I think we'll continue tomorrow about the joints, and we'll continue from the joints tomorrow, okay? Joints and different diseases associated to this, or different disorders related to the skeletal system or the joints, and we will also see something about botany part of biology tomorrow. Okay, so yeah, if you have any queries, any okay, if you have any queries, you can just text me personally. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. We'll meet tomorrow at the usual timing.
Thank you, man.
Welcome.